Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be doing a rules refresher for Endeavor Deep Sea. And in this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know to play with the Orca Reintroduction mini expansion. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm all set up to teach you today about how to use the Orca Reintroduction mini expansion for Endeavor Deep Sea. So first of all, if you'd like to use this expansion, you're going to grab these 5 wooden Orca meeples and set them off to the side, and then you take this Orca Reintroduction tile. It is a surface zone or a depth 1 tile, and you're going to shuffle it into the depth 1 stack when you play. So this expansion is compatible with all 10 scenarios of the base game. So let's pretend right now that I am taking a sonar action here where I have a vessel at the sea star and I can find a depth 1 or 2 zone. And so I'm going to pick depth 1. I grab the 2 zones off the top and hey, look, there's Orca Reintroduction. So I'm going to choose this instead of remote anchorage and I'm going to place it here. The discovery bonus for when you discover this zone is to gain 1 coordination and then gain 1 disc, which is always handy, and then place these 5 Orca tokens now on this tile. So there they are in the pen. And now you can see the tokens a little bit better. They're really excellent looking. So the orcas are now in their rehab pen. You're ready to play with this tile. So the first thing that we need to know is when we arrive at this tile, the arrival bonus is to gain 1 of these Orca tokens, assuming there is 1 left. When you gain it, you must gain it from this tile, and they can never be replaced to this tile. And when you gain it, you just place it in your staging area. Now, to be clear, the arrival bonus is to gain 1 Orca token. You cannot gain more than 1 at a time, but you may have multiple in your staging area at one time if it works out that way. I'll talk about what these Orca tokens do in a second, but there are a couple of other actions you can take here. One, there is a journal action using the green field icon. So nothing out of the ordinary there. That's just a journal action. And then there are 2 sonar spaces that are depths 1 to 3, but they have this symbol here. So let's say that I'm taking one of these sonar actions and I'm going to look at depth 3. So I grab, as normal, the top 2 zones from the depth 3 stack. If the zone that I choose to discover has any conservation spaces on it, I gain 1 reputation. So of course that only applies when you're taking the sonar actions here in the Orca Reintroduction tile. If I were to go here and discover a zone with conservation actions, I would not get the bonus. That only applies to this tile. But in this scenario here, Carbonate Spires has journal actions and sonar actions, but no conserve, whereas Jellyfish Bloom has 2 conserve spaces and a journal. So if I would choose Jellyfish Bloom, I would gain 1 reputation. If I were to choose instead Carbonate Spires, that would be fine, but I would not gain the reputation bonus. So that's how the sonar action works on that tile. Now, let's say later I move away from that tile and I am here, and I want to take a conservation action. And we'll say that I'm going to use my team leader. I would still place a disc on the team leader to take the conservation action in this zone here where I have a vessel. But if you have an orca in your staging area and the conservation you're taking is in a zone that does not have any orca tokens in it, you may place the Orca token in that zone, and then the conservation action, you do not have to pay any research cost. So the cost is reduced to 0. So in this instance, I took this conservation action, which has a cost of 4. I only have 3 research, so normally I wouldn't be able to take it. I would have to take this, if I was going to conserve here, this one costs 1, this one costs 2, this one costs 3. Any of those would be available, but this one would not. But I can, instead of paying research, take an Orca token and place it here on this tile. So this represents reintroducing the Orca to the wild. And that's pretty much it. So let me go through the highlights again. So during setup, if you want to include this mini expansion, take the Orca Reintroduction tile and just shuffle it into your depth 1 stack and keep the 5 wooden Orca markers nearby. Then when the Orca Reintroduction tile enters play, take the discovery bonus as normal and add the 5 Orca markers to the zone's rehab pen. From that point forward, when you travel to the Orca Reintroduction zone, the arrival bonus lets you take 1 Orca from the rehab pen, if any remain, and place it in your staging area, and you may carry multiple Orcas at once. Then, when you are performing a conservation action in a zone that does not already have an Orca in it, you can remove an Orca from your staging area and place it in the zone, reintroducing it to the wild to reduce the research cost of that conservation to 0. And finally, if you perform a sonar action in the Orca Reintroduction zone tile, if the zone that you discover has any conservation sites on it, gain 1 reputation. And that is it. This is the simplest, in my opinion, of the 3 mini expansions for Endeavor Deep Sea released so far. Again, all 3 of them are compatible with all 10 of the base game missions. And personally, I like to take all 3 and just shuffle them into their stacks at all times. I just always play with them. I think they're really fun. I think they're pretty strong. And the only thing that makes them mini expansions is that they have, additional pieces, which tends to give them a little bit more rules overhead. But, every tile's got its own thing going on, so it's not really that much more. But that's it. Now you're ready to play with the Orca Reintroduction mini expansion. If you have any questions or if you think I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. If you want to see more Endeavor Deep Sea on this channel, leave a like, consider sharing this video with somebody else, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. I would really appreciate it. But that's what I've got this time on Table for One. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.